Hi friends, this is part 2 of your downward facing dog breakdown. For this part, you'll need 2 blocks and we'll come right away into tabletop. We will explore the positioning of your arms in downward facing dog. Some of the common things that people will feel from practicing downward facing dog is wrist pain or shoulder pain. And so we'll break down the positioning of your arms and your shoulders so that you can lighten the load of the joints and also feel better after practicing downward facing dog. From tabletop, stack your shoulders in line with your wrist and just spread your fingers wide along the mat. When you spread your fingers wide, this distributes the weight around the hands more evenly. So feel that your pinky and your thumb spread away from each other. You can stay in your tabletop and work with spreading your hands, but I want to show you what the difference in the hand position is. So for instance, this is more of a closed hand. I see or have seen in my years of practice teaching students' hands like this, a closed hand. So you really want to spread between each finger in your hand position where you literally see that there's space in between each finger and your thumb. And you want to have this palm position on your mat with both hands. So begin to work a little bit more, stretching your fingers apart and press down into your hands. Shift your body weight forward so that you can press down into your hands and place more weight into your index finger and your thumb. So I'll show you again. The weight is going to be mostly in this pocket of your palm. Between your index finger and your thumb, you'll want to distribute weight here because this joint of the hand can carry a little bit more load, especially when you start adding body weight to it. So feel the weight distribute on the inner side of the hand and the thumb. From here, walk your hands 1 palm distance ahead of your shoulders. 1 palm distance. The rest of the body doesn't move. If you place your hands back, wrist back underneath the shoulders, do that again, 1 palm distance ahead of the shoulders. Let's practice that again. Place the wrist back underneath the shoulders, and then 1 palm distance ahead of the shoulders. Pause here. Are your fingers still spread? Spread them wide, spread the thumb wider. Shift your shoulders over your wrist and notice what has changed in your body. For me, I'm feeling a lot more effort in the arms. I have shifted my whole body weight, almost all of my body weight, into my hands. Wrists are stacked in line with the wrist, or shoulders are stacked in line with the wrist. Slowly shift back. And this is kind of like an active child's pose. Arms are lifted. And then pick up the body and shift back into the hands. Let's do that a few more times. Move the hips back. Pull the body forward, shoulders in line with the wrist. Move the body back. And again, notice how the body weight adds a lot more load onto the arms. Do that 2 more times. Shift back and come forward. Shift back and come forward. All right, come back to your neutral tabletop position. Shoulders are underneath the wrist. Let's practice that again. Take the palms 1 palm distance ahead of your shoulders. Shift the shoulders over your wrist and curl your toes underneath behind you. And then we're just gonna hold here for about 5 breaths. I'm keeping track of the breath count for you. We're halfway there. Take 1 more deep breath in. On your exhale, child's pose, keep your hands where they are. Can you just move your hips back without moving your hands? Widen your knees, bring your big toes to touch. and allow your head and your neck to relax here in child's pose. Keep the arms lifted and active. And slowly come back to your tabletop. All right, for this next part, I want to emphasize the positioning of your elbows and your upper arms. So in downward facing dog, some of the common things that I've seen in teaching for students who are new to the practice or they've just picked up different habits along the way, that the elbows roll out like this, right? So if you notice, my elbows are here in line with my upper arm and shoulder, and it's also in line with my wrist. And then the moment that I move the elbows out, what happens to the hand position? Maybe even what happens to the shoulders, right? This is more stable when elbows are able to come underneath the body, and also the upper arm kind of rolls in towards your face, right? Versus away from your face. You'll see upper arms roll in towards the face. So let's practice this action of our arms while we're adding load to the arms and the joints in downward facing dog. Come into your tabletop, stack the shoulders in line with the wrists. Your knees are underneath your hips, so you're in this box shape. Walk your hands one palm distance ahead of your shoulders and move your elbow tips out. Just move them out. Just notice how you've lost even the chest, where it's kind of like a building that has the pillars taking from the center, right? The building is gonna collapse, right? So the chest moves down the moment that you move your elbows away from your body. And you'll also know your fingers and your wrists probably feel more compromised. So feel for wrapping your elbows underneath the body. And depending on the mobility of your elbows, you may still see the elbow out to the side. But what I'm asking you to do is action your muscles in so that you feel more stable in your arms. All right. So elbows out and then hug them underneath you and feel the chest rebound up. All right. Do that one more time, elbows out, and then feel your elbows hug in towards the body. All right. Shift the shoulders forward over your wrist again. Curl the toes underneath. Even here, feel the elbows hug in. Upper arm bones will spin forward a bit more. You can look down at your elbows. You can look down at your upper arms. Your upper arms will spin forward towards the top of your mat. All right. All right, my friends, this is concluding part 2 of your downward facing dog breakdown. If you're ready for more, you're ready to continue, check out the next video and I'll see you there. Peace.